Hello, Pisces. I am Ulrich. I am a Lenormand card reader, but as every month we will use the financial card deck now. The laying is done with 3 cards you see here in front of me, and you can also see 4 objects here on the table, meaning we will do 4 readings for the sign of Pisces for the month of October 2021. Now, from the 4 objects that you see here, you choose or you pick one that you think relates most to your personality, or you choose one you feel most comfortable with. The object of your choice, it should or it will relate the best to your financial current situation, or the advice that you are receiving from the cards regarding that situation. Of course, you can watch all 4 videos regarding to the Pisces sign and then decide which card reading that is fitting you the best. The first group that we do is the matches or the fire group. The second is the stone or the earth group. The third is the aerosol or the air group. And the fourth one is the shell or the water group. So Pisces, here we go for your card reading for October 2021. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the Shell or the Water group for the card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I want to mention again that Mercury is still going retrograde, meaning it started on 27th of September, and this is going on till 18 October. This is not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under that, officialize it. It's not a good thing to do. You will see also that your flight is canceled, your bus is late, packages that you need to arrive at your home, they are wrong delivered, the containers is wrong. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. So the general idea here is not to sign any contracts, and also it's not a good idea to buy like cell phones, laundry machines, because these things are connected to warranties and the warranty is connected to the contract. So these are all things we need to avoid. If somehow you are obligated to sign or you have no choice for signing a contract, double check or triple check the contract, because it's possible after you change your mind, you want to get rid of the contract, you cannot anymore because you didn't saw certain clauses. If you want to get out, you need to pay a big fine. So be careful if you sign any contracts during that period, but I would advise you not to sign any contract. So here we see the card reading for the sign of Pisces for the water group. Now, the general idea for this reading, I have a quick overview here, is that we need to be happy with what we have accomplished so far. And here the nuance is that we need to control our immediate satisfaction needs, and we need to compare our situation with others. But I just go in the details now. So here, the first card that we see here is immediate satisfaction. What does this mean? Well, we live in a world of overconsumption, and sometimes if we work hard, we want to give ourselves a present. This is what is called instant satisfaction. So in order to improve our finances, we must be aware that this is happening. Happiness, this card says, will not come from the purchase of a fleeting object. If you think that you will fulfilled or feel fulfilled because of this sudden things that you buy, probably you will not. You need to ask yourself, how long will this feeling last? And is this situation really worth your efforts? So actually, it's a social problem, because the society teaches us in order to be happy, we need to consume as much as we can. If we follow TV commercials, it's unthinkable that we are fulfilled, well-dressed, without having the right electronics, the right shoes, the car of the year. So it don't stop. But you work every day, you work very hard, and in order to maintain yourself, do you really need this additional satisfaction? This card tells you to control this spending. It's a multiplication of several small things, and at the end of a certain period, it will cost you a lot of money. So this card tells you to pull yourself together, be aware of this trend and try to avoid it. Learn to transform this. Think about long-lasting happiness. This is what this card is. Save your money for something that you really want, like a trip or some changes in your house, something that brings you lasting happiness, or things that last for a long time. So here, then, if you do so, you will feel more on the long run a happiness. Also, this card here, the next card, then, this card wants you to compare yourself with people out of previous generations, like for instance your parents and your grandparents, and compare yourself where you are now compared to them. As you undoubtedly know, you realize that your situation compared to them is much better. For those people, they had their salary, and once the salary is spent, there was nothing left. They could not buy exotic herbs. They could not go to a trip. There were no credit cards. So if you compare yourself to them, you're actually good off. And this card also wants you to reflect and think over people who have only very few, like people who live in poor countries, who are, like for instance, very affected now by this COVID situation, or who are affected by wars in their countries, like for instance we see in Afghanistan. So this card wants you to reflect how good you have it now compared to those people. So this card tells you you need to be very happy now. You're in a good position compared to others who have few, who are on the refugee, or who have nothing at all. This card wants you to be happy. So if you think about it, you will see that there is no parallel, neither to your ancestors as to those people who have nothing. Then the last card here, it's a very positive card here. So it means that your financial situation will more improve if you control your impulses here for sudden things that you buy. And probably here now we can see that you have probably some results of your work and your efforts. Probably you save more, and you start to see the changes in your bank account, and there are modest victories. Like you feel better, you feel more comfortable, you are improving. But this card asks you also if you have a plan on the long term. Can you make changes? Can you make changes for improving yourself even more? And are there things in your life that you use or that you buy that you don't really need? So here, this card tells you, you need to remember where you come from. Maybe your situation before is very difficult, and see now how comfortable you are now compared to the situation before, compared to your grandparents and the people who have nothing. So you need to appreciate the progress that you have made, but also you need to control. You need to control, and if you do so, you will improve even more. So you need to keep persevering here. So Pisces, this is a very positive laying for the water group. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Please watch also the Lenormand card readings that are on my channel. Thank you for doing so. Thank you for subscribing, and see you in my other readings. Bye-bye for now. Thank you. Hello Pisces, and welcome to the Aerosol or the air group for your card reading for October 2021. I mention it in every group. Mercury is running retrograde. It started on 27 September. It goes to 18 October. It's not a good time for signing contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under. It's not a good idea to do, because normally this can have financial consequences for you. So during that period, it's not a good idea, for instance, to buy gadgets like cell phones or even laundry machines. Why? Because these are connected to warranties, and the warranties are connected to contracts. The contracts, maybe there's some clauses in the contracts that you didn't see. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. Also, you will see that your flights are delayed, your flights are canceled. You expecting a package, the package is delivered on the wrong address, the containers is wrong, you're in traffic jams. These are all things happening during Mercury retrograde. The problem is, during that time, our mind tends to work a little bit slower. That is the mind of all people in general, collective. And that's why we have these difficulties with the contracts. So the general idea here is that we don't sign any contracts at all, and we try to avoid to sign contracts. But however, if you have no choice but signing, or you choose to sign, please double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore, or if you want out, you need to pay a big fine. So anyway, my advice to you would be not to sign any contracts during that period. Coming back here to the card reading here, the general idea here of the card reading here is that we need to be careful what we are doing, and taking care of ourselves for the future and balancing ourselves out, but I will go in details here. The first card that we see here, you see the pig here with the umbrella. So the pig wants to protect himself for the irregularities in life. So this card tells you it's always possible in our life. We are facing times that are less positive than maybe now. So no matter in what area of your life you are, there will always be storms in life. So when it comes to money, it's unrealistic that we don't need to prepare for any irregularities in life. So this card tells you you have a rescue plan, a safety cushion. Do you have some savings? Are you prepared for the unforeseen? Because things sometimes in our life are unpredictable. We don't know what will happen, when it will happen, and this card asks you, are you ready for disruptions? If not, maybe you need to think how to prepare, and do you prepare? So this is what this card tells you here. Also, this relates also, is your car still in good condition? Is your car still safe? Do you have a little savings? Or do you spend a lot that you should not spend? Could you, if you are in a difficult situation, could you survive a pay cut? So these are all things that are accented by this card. So this card asks you to act in control, take care of yourself for possible difficulties in the future, which is not said that they will come, but this card is just, it wants to help you and avoid the unforeseen. The second card we have here is a card about budgeting. What does this mean? Well, it means like our money, we need to plan with our money. It's a little bit like the cactus that we see here. So we need to be careful with our money, and you need to determine yourself if you are a budgeting type or not. Some people have the habit of budgeting and are prepared for a lot. But maybe here, since we have this card, this is a kind of a weakness here. So do not forget to plan this card. So it's actually connected here to this card. Make a plan and foresee the unforeseen. Also be aware that whatever you spend or whatever adjustments that you make, you always need to calculate that you will be off about 10% if you spend something. This is the normal factor. This is what this card tells you. So this card asks you if you have flaws and you are not foreseen for certain situations in the future. Maybe there will be, it's possible if you're not foresee this, that you could have shortages. We don't know when, but there's always a possibility. So these two cards are actually like a little bit like a warn you. They want to help you. So this card asks you, are you able to budget? So if you're not, just try to adjust yourself, write things down, find an alternative for saving money. One of the things that you can do for saving money, for instance, is paying cash. It's a very old trick, and you will have more control over your money because you actually see the money disappearing out of your wallet, and it causes a psychological pain as we hand over the money to the cashier. So paying with credit cards, we don't actually have a feeling with the money, but if you pay cash, you have. This is one example here that this card tells you. You need to find a way so you can make yourself more secure. This is what this card tells you. The last card here, this is about repayment of debts. That's the general idea of the card. But it's also possible that there are certain credit cards that you have that charge you very high interests. There's a very big difference in credit cards. Maybe your traditional bank, they have nice interests, nice rates, but maybe you have an additional card that that charges you enormous interest. If it's your own bank, you need to take care of this, because some banks, they have certain strategies for really skimming the customer. Also here, if you have certain debts in credit cards, this card asks you to balance this out and foresee the unforeseen again. You need to establish your priorities, this card says. And if you have debts in certain credit cards, try to get rid of the expensive credit cards. Try to pay them off. And the faster you pay these debts off, the more you will save, and the faster you will recover. This is what these cards tell you. I'm assuming here you're in not in a bad situation, but I think you need to evaluate your credit cards here. This is what this is about. If you have certain arrears, or if you are not aware that these credit cards or companies charge you so much, just be aware of that. Check it out. A possible alternative, if your bank is overcharging you, is, for instance, internet banking. Most of these companies, a lot of them are connected to big banks. You just find it out for yourself, and you will see there is very few expenses. There is no annual expenses. Why? Because they don't actually have branches. So you will save a lot of money. There is no annual expenses. The only thing in general what you pay with these companies is, for instance, is your credit card, the card itself, 10 franc, and a small annual amount, maybe for like $5 to $10. So this is also what this card tells you. You need to be a little bit creative here with your money, and you need to try to budget. So Pisces, for the Aerosol or the air group, this is all for this month. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. If this video don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 videos that are connected here. And also you can check out my traditional card readings, the Lenormand card readings that we do every month for every sign. So anyway, thank you for watching, and see you in my other card readings on my channel. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hello Pisces, and welcome to the Stone Group for the month of October 2021. Before we start, I mentioned it in every group, Mercury is still going retrograde. It started on 27th of September. This goes to 18 October. It's not a good idea to sign contracts. Anything you need to put your name under that officializes, it's not a good period to do. You will also see that if you fly, for instance, your flight is canceled, your bus is delayed, you're more in traffic jams. If you need to receive packages at home, they are wrongly delivered, the containers is wrong, something go wrong with the delivery. Also, it's not a good idea to buy cell phones or like laundry machines. Why? Because these things are connected to the warranty, and the warranty is connected to the contract, and you come in the circle. So, however, if you, for some reason, you are obligated to sign a contract, or you have no choice, double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after that you change your mind, you want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore because you signed. And if you want to get out, there's a big fine, or there are some clauses in the contract that you don't agree with, but you didn't see. So during that period, it's best not to sign any contracts at all. Anyway, coming back here to the reading now, the first card that we see here is that we need to see that we don't live beyond our means. So it's possible that in the last weeks you spend a little bit too much money. And this card tells us it's better not to spend money that we don't have. Why? Because, well, eventually it can bring us in difficult situations. It could bring us even into debt. So this card tells you not to make any purchases that you cannot pay for, or not to use credit cards for going into minus. Realize also that if you buy something and it's in minus on your credit card, you pay high interests on that. So this card wants you to realize that and need to be aware, want you to make aware of exorbitant interest fees. Some companies are real sharks. So this card wants you to be aware of that. This card also tells you if you can pay cash, so you get a connection again with the money. So if you pay with the credit card and you at the end of the month your balance is not paid, you will pay interests on that. So actually you don't pay for the goods themselves, but you also pay high interests. So here this card tells you to balance this out, and it's best not to do so. So this card tells you take an adventure and control your credit cards, and are you able to do so? The second card we see here, it's about cycles. Cycles always come back in our lives. There are always expenses that we didn't anticipate. For instance, when it depends, of course, in what stage of your life you are, but like, for instance, young parents, they believe once their children are out of the baby clothes, the expenses will reduce. Of course, we all know this is not the case because they become teenagers, and then we have the teenager expenses. They go to sports clubs. After the sport clubs, they get older and they ask you to go to university, and you need to, of course, pay for the facilities in university. So this is what this card is about the cycle of your life, for instance, from your children, but also for yourself. For instance, if you have a new house, the house is all new when you go into it, but things get older and we come back in certain expenses after years. After 20 years, we know we need to change the roof, we need to change, for instance, the plumbing. So this is what this card is about. You need to be aware that some things in your life will come back. This card tells you if you have certain things that you need to repair, you best try to repair them and you don't postpone. This card tells you actually that expenses are always coming back. So if you are financially unclear a little bit for now because of a certain difficult situation, these cards want you to balance out. And then we go to the next card, and you need to focus, the last card says here, on your basics. So what does this mean? Well, we have necessities in life and we have luxurious. This card asks you, do you know what your real needs are? So this card tells you to take your time, compare your situation, and look what is fundamentally necessary for you and what is an option or what is a luxury. So you need to analyze your condition that you have, and you need to distinguish these things, the things that you are obligated to buy and the things that you desire to buy. There's a difference there. We all know this. If you analyze your situation, you will see and you will come to certain conclusions, and you will notice that there are certain things that you bought that you don't actually need. This is what this card is about. So here it says, it's good you buy luxury purchases time to time, but you need to give them a certain place. For instance, this place is not on the credit card here. You need to wait till you have a certain budget accumulated, and then you buy the luxury things. This is what this card tells you. Try to budget your things. Don't go in credit cards. Be consciously, make clear decisions for yourself. And then this card adds, if you do so, you will be happily surprised, and you even will enjoy more the luxury purchases that you make for yourself. So Pisces, for the Stone Group, this is all for this month. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for doing so. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are connected here. And also, of course, you are welcome to watch my classic Lenormand videos that are also on my channel available. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time, and see you maybe next time. Bye-bye for now. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to the matches or the fire group for your card reading for October 2021. Before we start, I mentioned it in every group. Mercury is still going retrograde, meaning it's not a good idea to sign contracts, agreements, anything you need to put your name under is not a good idea. Also, you will see that your flight is delayed, your flight is canceled, your train is late, you're more in the traffic jams, packages that you need to receive are at home are delivered wrong, the containers is wrong. These are all things that are happening during Mercury retrograde. Also, it's not a good idea to buy cell phones or equipment for your housekeeping like laundry machines. Why? Because these are connected to a warranty and there can be something go wrong with the warranty. Anyway, the general idea here is that you don't put your name under any form of contract. However, if you're obligated, you have no choice for signing a contract or for doing some purchases, please double, triple check the fine print, because it's possible after you change your mind, you don't like the device, you don't like the contract, you want to get out of the contract, you cannot anymore. If you want to get out, you need to pay a big fine, or you cannot get out of it anymore at all. So anyway, the general idea is that you avoid signing any form of contract. Coming back to the card reading here, the first card that we see here, the general idea here is that we keep our budget under control. This is the general idea here, and also that we don't bend for people around us, but I will go in more details now. Probably in the last weeks, you spend more money than you anticipated, and this card here, it wants to teach you a trick. It wants to teach you a trick for controlling your budget. For instance, if you see that despite your best intentions, nothing helps, then we can apply certain things here. Also, I want to mention, if you go to the store, before you pay, it's important that you check the items in your basket and check what you really need. Because maybe you're in a situation where you don't want to be, or you would like to be in a better financial situation. But this is all connected in the way you spend. You cannot spend superficially. This card says you need to control yourself. Maybe you done it again and you catch yourself that you overpay, you overbuy, you have certain habits, overconsumption tendencies, so you need to control these. What we can do here, for instance, for avoiding this, we can put small reminders visually on our credit cards. And if we are about to pay, we see the credit cards and we see the small sticker that we put on there. Whatever makes you scared for paying, you put in the corner of the credit card. And when you see the sticker and you're about to pay, you will realize, oh la la, I have some certain things here in my basket that I don't really need. This is like a visual reminder. It's very simple, but this is what this card wants to tell you. It wants to teach you small tricks. If you buy a lot of stuff online, for instance, you can change your passwords in like what is, for instance, the password is truly necessary or reasonable, things like that. And if you are about to pay for the payment, you put in these words and they make you think also. Of course, you will need to change these passwords regularly because you will get used to them, and of course this will not have the effect anymore on the long run. But anyway, this card wants to safeguard you and let you pay attention. It wants you to be creative and administer those little reminders and avoid that you superficially spend money. The second card is the card about social pressure. What does this mean? Well, we are constantly comparing ourselves with others, with our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors, people around us, the social group that we are functioning in, people who have approximately the same salaries as us. And we compare ourselves with that group where we exactly are. Of course, we need to also admit that we are in a society, we live in a society of overconsumption. You probably noticed that your neighbor, your brother, your sister, they have regularly new cars, they have luxurious cars, they have nice designer clothes, they have nice shoes, and you, for your part, sometimes you struggle. This card tells you not to compare yourself to others. It's you who are in control over your budget, and you don't need to compare yourself to others. Maybe you have other responsibilities than for buying shoes. Maybe you have a big responsibility for other people, or responsibilities you took on you that you want to do. It tells you, this card also, don't let others' financial appearances not fool you. It's not always what we see that is happening. We never know in what kind of situation these people are. Also, this card tells you to find, if you really want something, you can find alternatives. Meaning, for instance, there's a lot of websites online that sell secondhand goods. Sometimes the warranty is still on the goods, everything is still in the box, everything is original, and you pay 20–30% less. This card wants you to buy good purchases, safe purchases, but you look for alternatives. This is what this card tells you. You will save budget and you will improve also. Also, for instance, if you have a big purchase like a car, this card tells you to look out for second-hand cars. For instance, second-hand cars with an extended warranty. Maybe the car is 6 months old, 1 year old, but you still have 2 or 3 years warranty. This is what this card wants to tell you. If you spend your money wisely. Live according to your own needs, your own abilities. Define yourself where you are. If you know where you are and your personal accomplishments, they are ultimately much more worth than the clothes that are very expensive. So don't bend for social pressure of your group, friends, peers, relatives, or whatever. The last card is the card of overconsumption. So here, what we see here, well, again, here it's connected to buying too much. We are daily confronted with advertisement, and it has a certain impact on our way of life. We have certain obligations that we have, and these obligations are no longer the same that our parents had. Excuse me. Those people had basic necessities, but today our basic necessities are very different. For instance, a smartphone or a cell phone is a basic necessity. Internet access is, and for some people also, they want to enjoy a vacation. So these are all necessities that we have now. Society has evolved. Essentials have been replaced. So here, this card wants you to evaluate what you really need and what is important for you. And then it asks you to distinguish what you don't really need. And then the next card, this question asks you, now you have all these goods. Are you happier than your ancestors, than other people? This card tells you not to be fooled by overconsumption. This card tells you to relativize your life. Go back to the essence of your consumption, because mostly hyperconsumption, it blinds people. They think it will bring them happiness, but actually it's not. The people around you, that are the ones who bring you happiness in most cases. So you need to distinguish here the essential from the non-essential. So, and this card asks you, if you stop buying things that you don't need, would you actually be less happy? Probably your answer is no. So this is what this card is about. So live according to your needs, what you really need, and not what society dictates us. Don't bend for social pressure. Control your expenses and your wallet will improve and your mind will relax more. So, Pisces, for the fire group, this is all for now. I hope you enjoyed this card reading. If this card reading don't fit you at all, please check out the other 3 card readings that are connected here. And of course, also watch the other classic Lenormand videos that we do each month. Anyway, thank you for watching and see you soon on my other videos in this channel. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.